351 of Georgios Bersis. And then the 310 of Mario Sidler had a 5-second penalty for pushing. So, your last race of the penultimate day of the racing season for the 2019 BNL Karting Series calendar. The grid is as follows. Dylan LaHaye is on pole position, alongside will be Sweden's Matilda Olsson. Stormbroer and Ilian Brunsils round out the top two rows, ahead of Lewis Gilbert and Tom Edmonds, who complete row number 3. Then it's a quartet of Brits that complete the top 10. Clayton Ravenscroft, Jason Lockwood, Nelson King and Will Jenkins. Max Demmerink and Mick Knowlton complete row 6, ahead of Kian Sang and Belgium's Felix Varget. Maxim Turiev from Russia completes the top 15, ahead of James Lingard. Charlie Turner from the Philippines, Eduardo Cosseteng. Kieran Gifford, Mads Lies from Denmark, Tim Mikametz from Germany, Sen Rudenberg from the Netherlands, Teddy Clinton from the United Kingdom, Patrick Rundqvist from Sweden, Francis Andreas Hebert from the Netherlands, Lorenzo Stork, a duo of Belgians in the form of Victor Plateau and Vincent van Kerkhoven, who ran at the top 28, with Emily de Hoys in 29th, Endo Shogo from Japan in 30th, ahead of Samuel Harrison, Nick van der Mosselaar from the Netherlands. Also from the Netherlands, Bram Mosavada in 33rd, ahead of Portugal's Guilherme de Oliveira, Germany's Fabian Bock, and out of the last of the 36 drivers, the 380 from the United Kingdom, Oscar Hall. 13 minutes set on the timer. Red lights ignited on the starting gantry for one final time here at the home of champions. So the time is just gone 15:41 local time here. So if you're in the UK, you're just an hour behind us. And whoever's watching, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for tuning in. It's looking to be a fantastic conclusion to the first day of the final weekend of the year. Just 2 weeks before the 20th anniversary of the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, being held at the Circuito Internazionale Napoli in Sarno, southern Italy, from the 19th to the 26th of October. So one driver from this class will take home a ticket to Sarno and be one of 360 drivers heading to South Italy, just off of the Amalfi coast, to compete in one of the most colourful displays of racing, where every single driver has qualified on merit. So LaHaye, Olsson, Breuer, Brunsils, Gilbert, Edmonds, Ravenscroft, Lockwood, King and Jenkins. That is your top 10 out of 36 Cinemax drivers, ready and primed to go into battle one final time here on Saturday, October the 5th, 2019. They're told to slow, they head into the tram lines, the red revs rise on the Rotax engines, and we go lights out, and that is a very slow starting. 3:45 there. And that is Teddy Clinton. That's a real shame for the Brit. But the rest of the field now makes its way through, and someone else who's got going a bit slowly there. So that's 2 of the 36 that really didn't get off on the right foot. And by that I mean the start wasn't the best for either of them. Teddy Clinton now up to full racing speed. And the other driver, that looks to be the 327 there. That's Andreas Hebert from France. So that's a real shame for the French driver's efforts. So, at the minute, we have, looks like Dylan LaHaye leading Stormbroer, Matilda Olsson and Lewis Gilbert. Nice little dive up the inside. Looks like Tom Edmonds there on the... no, that's Clayton Ravenscroft up the inside of Ilian Brunsils. So, Ravenscroft really has got the fire stoked in the belly. And just behind them is Nelson King in the 354 with Dan Holland Racing. Felix Varget now up into 8th ahead of Tom Edmonds, with Jason Lockwood, Will Jenkins, Kian Sang, Charlie Turner, Max Demmerink, and looks like Lingard. That's James Lingard in the 334, running at the top 15. But now it is looks like that both LaHaye and Stormbroer are trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Matilda Olsson is in 4th now, behind Lewis Gilbert, with Ravenscroft definitely wanting to make some moves, and goes up the inside of Olsson to take 4th place. So the gap was, and the lead has changed. That's a great move from Stormbroer up the inside of Dylan LaHaye through the right-hand sweeper at turn number 10. But LaHaye is wanting to make sure that he gets a good enough points advantage over Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft weekend has not been the best thus far as he retakes the position from the Dutch driver. Lewis Gilbert trying to go through too and tries to switch back through turn 3. Doesn't have enough room to get past the Dutch driver on the 388. This is allowing Clayton Ravenscroft, and I think that's Ilian Brunstiels now up into 5th, past Matilda Olsson. Then we got Nelson King just behind with Félix Farger. So Lahaye and Bleur trying to pull away from the rest of the field. Ravenscroft now past Gilbert for 3rd place. So it's about a bit of damage limitation here for the UK's Clayton Ravenscroft with KR Sport on the 399. As we have 10 minutes and 24 seconds plus an additional lap left to go. And Charlie Turner now completes the top 12, who last time around were 2.5 seconds adrift of each other. Let's see what the gap is this time. 2.1, and Charlie Turner's got past Will Jenkins for position. So Charlie Turner spoke with his dad Dale a bit earlier on, said he had a bit of a disaster in qualifying, but now he's coming back as we would expect a champion in British Rotax circles, having won the Super 1 British Championships back last year, and decided to come back over to Europe. Had a good chat with him at the midpoint of the Euro Trophy season back at Kristianstad, and I've got to know him over the past season. Really nice guy, but still definitely, and he's going for more places. He is after blood here. He's after senior Rotax blood, is Charlie Turner here. It looks like he's got up into the top 10. I think he's just got past Tom Edmonds. And also, he's got past Jason Lockwood as well. Lockwood's lost out. He's down in 11th. That means Charlie Turner will now be 9th when they cross the stripe, which is the case. Olsson now up into 4th. Ilian Brunstiels past Gilbert for what is now 5th place. That's as Félix Farger is ahead of Nelson King in the 354. 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Plus an additional lap left to go. Running order as it stands thus far is now Clayton Ravenscroft in the lead. Ravenscroft has got past both Storm Brouwer and Dylan Lahaye and takes the lead. If anyone remembers his fight back from 11th on the grid in the final race at Marienburg, that was a joy to behold, and now he's up at the front of the field. Ahead of Dylan Lahaye, Storm Brouwer in 3rd place. 4th looks to be Matilda Olsson, then Ilian Brunstiels. Lewis Gilbert in 6th, ahead of Félix Farger. And I think, I'm just keeping an eye out, that might be, let's see if there's been a change. No, Charlie Turner's still trying to close down on Nelson King for 8th position. And it's Tom Edmonds and Jason Lockwood as Matilda Olsson up the inside of a Storm Brouwer for 3rd place. Great move by the Swede. So every time I try and go through this 36 strong grid, in terms of the running order, someone puts a curveball right in my general direction, and that time it was Matilda Olsson, as Félix Farger has just got past Lewis Gilbert, who's just lost out to Charlie Turner. So the Doroi Diamond not having the greatest luck in this particular race. So he's running up at the front end of the field. There's more positional changes. Oh, then there was 2 abreast, and someone nearly came a cropper there on the outside of turn number 7. Meanwhile, Charlie Turner's getting firmly stuck in. He's trying to battle with the likes of Tom Edmonds, Jason Lockwood, amongst others. And Nelson King has lost out big time. 369 just behind Mads Rees. 359 Kieran Gifford just behind him. So it's really changed the dynamic of the running order here. Kian Sang up into 14th. Mick Knowlton now in the top 15. He's actually in 15th position. Other drivers making moves up the order. Well, Andreas Herbert still circulating in 36th and last. But at the front of the field, Clayton Ravenscroft continues to lead with 7 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap remaining. Ahead of Dylan Lahaye, Matilda Olsson in close proximity with the 2 in front. And she is gunning, I think, for another win this weekend. And just behind them looks to be Ilian Brunstiels, now past Storm Brouwer. Félix Farger in 6th place. Lewis Gilbert in 7th, Charlie Turner in 8th. Then it's Tom Edmonds, Jason Lockwood, Nelson King. Then the 359 of Kieran Gifford. And Mads Rees just behind. And then we've also got the 330 of, 302 of Kian Sang. Mick Knowlton just there too. We've gone past the half-time distance. Charlie Turner getting really aggressive, trying to go up the inside of the 325 of Tom Edmonds. And has to fall back a little bit there. That nearly could have compromised him going through turns 4, 5 and 6. But the Brit filled with steely determination, looking to move forward up the field. As from, what is it now, from Lewis Gilbert. That is, it's not Charlie Turner. I think that's probably going to be somebody in the realms of. Let's just keep an eye as they come through turn 11. So just ahead is Tom Edmonds. Jason Lockwood is behind, as looks like Kieran Gifford just got passed by Mads Rees around the final corner, and Gifford's trying to put the boot on the other foot, going down the start-finish line, heading into turns 1 and 2, but Rees definitely very, very aggressive on the defensive nature there. So at the minute, there's other drivers trying to make their moves up the order. Guilherme de Oliveira, 26th. Emily de Hoy's 23rd, having started down in 29th. Teddy Clinton down in 29th, having recovered now. Sam Harrison is behind Fabian Bock in 31st position. But at the front of the field, it is now Dylan LaHaye who leads. Dylan LaHaye has retaken the lead back from, as there's more Banzai moves up the inside into turn 7. So Dylan LaHaye leads. Clayton Ravenscroft still in second. Matilda Olsson, Ilian Brunsils, and then Storm Breur, Felix Varget, Lewis Gilbert. Then it is Tom Edmonds, Charlie Turner, Mads Rees. Looks to be Kieran Gifford just behind there. And then Nelson King. Mick Knowlton, I think, has made some inroads too. He's up into 14th position, having got past Kian Sang, but Ravenscroft is not letting. Oh, he's gone for it, and so is Matilda Olsson. So Ravenscroft pounces up the inside of the Belgian, going through turn 6. Olsson tries to go through, but can't make it happen. So Ravenscroft with about 4 minutes and 12, plus an additional lap left to go. If you're leading at the front of the field and everyone is trying to chase you down, you're the one that's being hunted, and you've got the wolves snapping at your heels from behind. And that's what Clayton Ravenscroft is feeling round about now. He's getting pressurised by 4 respective drivers that can challenge him for the win of this race. Lewis Gilbert and Felix Varget might have to settle for a little bit further down the order, as Gilbert is in 6th, Varget is in 7th. Then it is Edmonds, Turner, Rees, Lockwood. Well, no, Kieran Gifford has got past Jason Lockwood. Mick Knowlton has got past Nelson King for 13th position. And Kian Sang rounds out the last of the points-paying positions. Eduardo Cosatang from the Philippines down in 16th at the minute. As it's 3 abreast at some points a little bit further down the order, and in the middle of that looks to be the 3-3-4 of James Lingard, who's battling with the likes of Emily de Hoy's, Vincent van Kerkhoven and Max Stemmerdink above all others. As we come into the last 3 minutes plus an additional lap or so, Ravenscroft still holding on. His gap over Dylan LaHaye last time around was just over 1/10 of a second. It's going to be nip and tuck to see what happens, as Olsson just trying to keep things steady, calm and composed over the next 180 seconds, plus an additional lap. LaHaye gets the tow from Ravenscroft, heading down into turns 1 and 2. Ravenscroft takes that tight defensive line, not allowing LaHaye to capitalise. Brunsils, in the meantime, has closed up the gap to Matilda Olsson for 3rd position, whereas Storm Breur has got the ringside seat in 5th, and just waiting to see if the 4 in front start tripping over each other, because you never know what might happen. And if you're in a position where you've got enough room to take avoiding action, that can be a strength that could swing the pendulum in your favour. So Storm Breur just sitting tight and waiting for things to happen, as Matilda Olsson takes a cheeky look up the inside of Dylan LaHaye through the left-hander at turn number 9 as they go through turn 10. 2 minutes and 8 seconds plus an additional lap left to go. As Ravenscroft still fending off Dylan LaHaye. The gap was just over 1/10 of a second last time around. It's going to be possibly as close, if not closer. Matilda Olsson, if she wants to get another win, she's going to have to get a motor on right now. Just under 2 minutes remaining. And LaHaye, Olsson, Brunsils and Breur all deep within the braking zone, really keeping everything measured. Again, it's that cat and mouse tactic. It's now about who blinks first, who's going to try and make that move that could decide the victory in this race is anyone's guess. And with the calibre of the top 5, it takes one person to be in the right place at the right time to make it all happen. And sometimes it's a joy to behold, and sometimes it can end up being completely the wrong way, that no one wanted an incident out of it. But you never know what might happen. Charlie Turner, at the meantime, is currently sitting ahead of Tom Edmonds and Kieran Gifford. So Charlie Turner running at the top 8 behind Felix Varget in 7th. Lewis Gilbert in 6th place. Mick Knowlton, in the meantime, up to 12th. And got past Mads Ries, Jason Lockwood, and it looks like Nelson King and Kian Sang. And that rounds out the top 15. Eduardo Costateng a little bit further adrift from the 302. Still just outside of the points-paying positions, as it's now Storm Broer is getting a bit racier. Has probably decided to save the tyres a little bit and thought, if I've got about 40 seconds to go plus a lap, I've got a chance. There was not much between the top 5, just under 0.6 of a second, as Ilian Brunsils, oh there we go, Matilda Olsson has sprung and gone past Clayton Ravenscroft. So has Ilian Brunsils. Storm Broer is waiting the wings to make his move. So the timer is fast ticking away. We're going to have about 5 or so seconds when Dylan LaHaye crosses the line. So it was about 4 seconds remaining as Storm Broer goes up the inside of Clayton Ravenscroft to take 4th position. It's now or never for the Brit. He's got to really try and get a motor on. This is the penultimate lap of this race and also of today's action. So Clayton Ravenscroft really has to watch it now because Lewis Gilbert seems to be closing slightly, but Matilda Olsson is going for a Belgian scalp at the moment, and that is Dylan LaHaye who's leading. Ravenscroft really having to fight for it now, and Gilbert's trying to get past the 399 from KR Sport. It's going to be nip and tuck because the 2 leaders now starting to break away. Matilda Olsson just trying to keep things composed, keep things calm and cool, and try and close that gap to Dylan LaHaye. And just having a look at the steering inputs from the 2 respective drivers, looking very calm and composed of the pair of them. Olsson takes a little bit of a wider line coming out of the final corner to close up on Dylan LaHaye. So final lap it is, as Clayton Ravenscroft is having to fend off Lewis Gilbert for 5th position, as the Dorroy Diamond trying to shine his way past his fellow Brit. So we go into turn 6 for the final time. Olsson now has about half a lap to go to try and see if she can get past Dylan LaHaye. She's going to close up in the braking zone into turn 7. See how they both take turn 8. Ran about the same sort of racing line as Lewis Gilbert, really putting the kibosh on Clayton Ravenscroft for 5th position. And this is allowing Felix Varget from Belgium. That's a 3-way scrap for 5th position in the dying stages of the race. But Dylan LaHaye, I think, might have done enough. As they come round towards the final corner, the checkered flag will wave. And Dylan LaHaye is going to outdrag Matilda Olsson out of the final corner and take the victory here at Karting Genk. A very muted celebration from the Belgian. Matilda Olsson takes 2nd ahead of Ilian Brunsils. Storm Broer pounced on Clayton Ravenscroft when it was dependent on him finishing in the top 4 and took 4th ahead of Ravenscroft, who finished just fractionally ahead by about just over a 10th from Belgium's Felix Varget. Lewis Gilbert in 7th in the end, ahead of Kieran Gifford. Then we had Charlie Turner and Tom Edmonds from the UK rounding out the top 10. Mick Knowlton finished in 11th position, ahead of Mads Ries, with Jason Lockwood, Kian Sang and Eduardo Costateng from the Philippines rounding out the top 15. So they all score points in this particular final. Rounding out the running order from 16th onwards. Will Jenkins, 16th. 17th was Nelson King. Maxim Turiev from Russia in 18th position. Vincent van Kerkhoffen and Guilherme de Oliveira rounded out the top 20. Patrick Grunquist finished in 21st, ahead of Emily de Hoys from the Netherlands. Max Demmerdink, Nick van der Mosselaar and James Lingard round out the top 25 positions. All 36 drivers completed the race, all separated by 25.258 seconds. So Tim Mika Metz in 26th, Victor Plateau, Teddy Clinton, Fabian Bock and Endo Shogo from Japan rounding out the top 30 with Sam Harrison, Zen Rudenberg, Bram Ossevada, Lorenzo Stolk and Andres Hebert